Hello, everyone. So we were
Hi.
delayed just a minute because we get to chatting and we forget we're not live. Okay, we're sorry. So of course, Kathy is here and Todd Thomas is here. Thompson is here, and we were so
Hi.
excited. Now, Todd, I am
Yes.
sorry. I went to school with a Todd Thompson, and he's an actor too. Isn't that funny? I know.
Now, are you saying Thompson as in with a P, Thompson?
It's TH. Oh, yes, with the P in it. Yes.
I went to school with a Todd Thompson. I am not kidding you.
Oh, wow. Wow.
And we played on the same hockey team. We
Oh,
we
gee.
were in the same grades together, but he was the wet Todd, I was the dry Todd.
Oh,
That's how we yeah.
okay.
But that's crazy. Who knew?
I know, kind of cool. And
Yeah.
he, when I was a freshman, he was a senior, and he played the lead in Music Man, and I fell in love.
Hard not to fall in love with a music man.
I know, I know.
I
Are
don't
you
know.
still
I don't know a Tony Thompson, but I was listening to the soundtrack from The Music Man just this weekend.
okay?
Okay. Yes, that's a that's a fantastic
I
musical.
know. I sing it
Yeah.
to my students, like, and I can't sing, but I always sing the 76 trombones, and
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
We are so excited that you're here,
Thank you
and
for having me. I really appreciate it.
sure.
Thank you so much.
So the last time we saw you, you were in Hope Valley, and
Yes.
you came in like a hot mess, and you left like a breath of fresh air.
Hmm.
What have you been doing since then? You, the human, not the character.
Me, the human, not the character. Well, you know, living in Vancouver is great in and of itself. It's very, very fortunate to live in this city for many reasons. One of them is that there is so much being shot up here right now.
Yeah.
So, the you've probably discussed this before, but since COVID, um, everything now is you're shooting self tapes. You're not actually going into audition live. And I have converted my sister's coach house into a little studio.
Oh.
Like I have a very generous family. I'm very lucky. She has well, okay, so she has like two kids who use that room for like playtime, and now they're grown up. And she's like, "What do I do with this space?" And I was like, "I can take it over." So I have a great group of five or six actors in the city, and we're always just kind of on standby to help each other with auditions. And if not every night of the week, four times a week, I'm shooting an audition. One of my friends is shooting an audition, and it's actually been a blessing in that sometimes the audition process can be very solitary. Um, just depending on the time and but now you can kind of shoot them in the evenings when people are free, and I've really enjoyed that. So it's slowed down a little bit. There's kind of ebbs and flows.
Mhm.
um and I worked on a couple other projects. um I I do some advocacy work. I play a lot of guitar. I have a kid. So, life,
So
life.
let's talk about the guitar. I hear all the time that like when you play the guitar, it's like a close relationship with playing the piano, but you don't
Huh.
play the piano, do you? No.
If it looked like I did, that is 2000% the amazing crew and sound design team on When Calls the Heart. Editing, camera department, sound department. I I watched and I was like, it looks kind of believable. And so that is credit. All the credit goes to them for that, because I was just banging on keys.
Was there actually a hand double at any point?
There was. So what we did one time, which I had listened to the song many, many times. So I knew when it would kind of go up to higher notes, down to lower notes, when there'd be little accents and little, and there's a scene in the, God, pardon me, I can't remember the name, the eatery, the cafeteria where I'm served food, and there's people gathering around. I'm playing the piano, and
you're in the saloon, I think.
Queen of Hearts.
That's right, Queen of Hearts, yes. And Peter DeLuise, who directed that episode, who's a mensch. I just love that guy. He was like, just press keys. We won't record this. So when you do a wide shot or a long shot, I am actually pressing keys in an order that would make it look like I was playing. It was a cacophony of crazy sounds, and there's some wonderful BG performers, and I think there's like a wide shot of Aaron and some other people like kind of tapping their toes. If you could have heard what I was playing, it was like it was terrible.
Was that Natasha or Amanda who said that? The two of the actresses were standing there in the
trying not to laugh,
and they were saying, "Oh my gosh, no, that was not. We were not hearing the tune that you guys heard watching the episode."
Yeah, but what Peter technically was able to do was allow me to actually press keys. Like I was actually pressing keys. So it really was convincing that I was playing the tune. If you played back what I played, like after we cut, I did it about 3 times. We would all just laugh because it was so terrible. When we moved into the Canfield's home, there was a hand double, a wonderful piano player who actually played the tune. So on any cuts, there'd be a close up on the hand for the hand double, obviously. And then I would step in for the wider shots. But I feel that I was very nervous about the whole idea of playing, because I think we've all seen shows or things when you can just tell, like they're not, they're not, that guy's not really playing. And so I think they did a remarkable job of making it look like I could actually play.
So sorry.
No, go ahead, Kathy.
I've got to ask this then. If you were just kind of banging on the keys at random, but the look on your face was that you had really gotten in touch with your inner passion, how did you manage that look while you're blah, 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 blah?
Acting, Kathy.
Are you a method actor? Were you getting in touch with an old emotion, or just
that's why they hire me? No, I would say part of it was now, are you talking in the saloon, or are you talking in the Canfield's home, or both?
I think both. I mean, you could tell that you were just in your element while you were actually playing.
So on the day, they have what they call playback. So I will be hearing what I would actually supposedly be playing.
Wow. Okay.
So I have the, visceral, oral connection to the music and the beauty of that music.
Okay.
So that's very helpful, rather than sort of guessing what the emotional quality is. I can actually hear it. So that's very, very helpful.
And the mood.
Thank you for the question, though. Thank you for the question.
It was a good question, Kathy. The mood was different, because when you're in the Canfield house, it's much more serious and not that it's heavy-hearted, but it's like very heartfelt. And then when you are later on in the saloon playing away, it's upbeat and funny. And I love that scene because Elizabeth walks in and she kind of looks over and she's like, she makes this face like,
is this the same guy who is threatening to shut down my school?
I know.
Do I detect a smile on his face?
Right.
Right. Yeah.
So you started out in the end of the one season, then you came back and carried over into last season. Before you even auditioned, were you aware? I'm sure you're aware of, because everybody I feel like in the area is aware of When Calls the Heart. But had you ever watched it? Did you have to watch it to kind of get a feel?
Yeah, so you raise a very good point. I mean, When Calls the Heart is you know, 8, 9, 10, most shows go 3, 4, maybe 5 seasons.
Mhm.
It's a tribute to the writing, the actors, the production team, that it goes on. Another show, I don't want to diverge too much,
Oh,
but
you
was,
can.
Supernatural, which I think went 15 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
So there aren't a lot of shows that give you that much kind of backstory or that
Mhm.
much. It's just in your awareness. So I've auditioned for When Calls the Heart many times, and I'm like,
Wow. For
oh,
like what? What were some of the things that the parts?
I honestly can't remember.
Okay, so they were like guest appearances, not
Yes.
okay. All
Yeah.
right.
So they would be, in, maybe one episode,
Yeah.
a doctor, a soldier, a friend, someone
Sure.
traveling
Sure.
through. So it's always like, I generally your agent will send you at the very least a link of an episode or a season trailer, so that you get a feel for the
Right,
show.
right, right,
And then, so that's to get a feel for it. One thing that was what I was very interested in watching, I watched 2 or 3 episodes from each season.
right.
And the clothing, because
Mhm.
it's not a modern day show, so how could
Right.
I suggest the time period with the modern clothing that I had? So I was interested in that. But then, the kind of the rubber hits the road when you book a role and you're like, okay, now I want to know everything, about the show. So I talked to some people, Pascal Hutton, who is from Vancouver and who's a friend who, we had, and she was, wonderful. Viv Leacock, who was on the show, Mr. Canfield, he's a friend of mine, and he was very helpful. And it's all on Netflix, so you can, watch as much as you want. You don't want to. You want to make up some of your own choices,
Mhm.
so you want to temper. You want to temper your knowledge with, I want to know enough, but not too much.
Right.
I want to be influenced, but not too influenced. So you come in with your own sort of take and ideas on it.
Your own little
So when you
story.
Yeah,
when you
yeah.
came in, did they give you any indication of what your character arc would be? Did you know how this was going to?
No, I didn't. I knew that I would be in 2 to 3 episodes.
Mhm.
And I feel like to be honest, I don't know how typical or non-typical that is. I know as episodes are being written, new ideas will emerge. I know having sort of an antagonist to the Canfields, the first Black family in Hope Valley, was important,
Mhm.
was significant, timely. And so my spidey senses kind of said this could be, more than a couple of episodes, because of what was being set up with the Canfield's kids at the school. And my gosh, you get the call and, hey, can you come back for another episode? Yes, I can.
Of
Hey, we
course.
want you back for another episode. Yes, I can.
I think I can squeeze you in.
I think I can squeeze you in. Yeah, I think I think I can do that. So it's always a real, it's always so nice to revisit a set that you've been on, because the camera operators, the DP, possibly, I worked with Peter on a couple episodes, the people at Crafty, like you feel like, I coming into a new set for the first time, you're nervous. And so just have a little breath, and working with seeing Aaron again and going like, hey, how are you, how was your summer,
Yeah.
really nice.
The general consensus on this from the audience in this chat is they'd love to see Landis back in Hope Valley.
Yeah, we're going to share all that with you.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. And one of the things is, Elizabeth and Lucas are going to be having a wedding at some point. They're going to need somebody to play for the wedding. So,
we'll come back.
Kathy and Roxanne, I love you two.
Sure.
You're basically feeding storylines to writers and producers.
Is that what we're doing?
It
was just an idea.
Just an idea. Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yes, I would love to be invited back. I would happily return to Hope Valley.
I think it would be a good idea. I think then you can also help out as a teacher, Elizabeth, especially if she's going to go on her honeymoon or needs to do things, or if the school does expand. I think it would be fabulous to have you back. And then you could be playing in the saloon, or maybe
giving music lessons to the kids.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes. I have a question. When you were talking about all the different parts of the set and whatnot, and you were saying Crafty, I have a question. They always have, like, between the saloon and Minnie's Cafe, there's always even the treats at the ice cream parlor now. What do they serve in Crafty for you? Do they serve any of the stuff that we see? I know sometimes do they ever serve something?
Sneak in?
Yes. Or is it just your standard Crafty stuff?
Well, okay, kind of two-pronged answer. I mean, it's always, food on set is always amazing.
Okay.
There's an adage, like, you got to keep the crew happy because they're long days, and full tummies and treats. That's a great way to do it. Second thing, and I'll get what they serve at Crafty, is as an actor, there are prop pieces. We're not to touch prop pieces because someone has like a set dresser has been given those very specifically. And it's like, what are you doing, buddy? That's in the shot. So you although it might look delicious, it's a prop, and it's there for a very specific reason. So I wouldn't dare touch a thing that was in any of those shops, because the props person might scold me. But Crafty, my gosh, you can get soup, tuna cups, chocolate bars, hot chocolate, tea, M&Ms, Smarties, vegetables. I mean, you can get the gamut.
I think
it's great.
Ben Rosenbaum, they say he loves the they're sort of like gummies, but they're not. Like, they're like these little Welch's fruit little things, and he got them in his pockets all the time. And
oh my gosh, like a little fruit leather that you take out of the package. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh yeah. I there's, I'm sure you've heard this, like, as an expression: if you can't find an actor, go to Crafty. There's a good chance they're, having another cup of coffee or hanging out.
I love it. I was always curious, and I always keep forgetting to ask that question. And then when you mentioned it, I was like, well, I'm going to ask this time. I want to know.
Yeah.
I'm a foodie, so I like to know all those.
Yes. No, I hear you. Yeah.
Now, this beautiful scene that is between you and Natasha, or Mr. Landis and Minnie, it's quite difficult and emotional. And did the two of you, I mean, you have your scripts and you've got your director, but did the two of you have to, like, sort of talk to each other to figure out with your scene partner how you wanted to play it, or did you just go with it?
And so in my mind, there's the two scenes. There's the scene where she serves me my lunch. And then there's a scene at the house.
Yes. Yeah. So,
are you talking like sort of a general arc? But yeah. I it was fun. We were shooting the scene in the diner, and a lot of times, you'll shoot, like a master shot, and then they'll have to, turn around, and they'll have to, different angles or a close up. And the actors are invited to, step off set, and we go to a green room,
Mhm.
and you can talk about that scene, or you can talk about, uh, what you had for breakfast, or not talk at all. It really depends. And there's an element of respecting one's space and respecting one's ideas, and not wanting to influence
Mhm.
another actor. And so Natasha very respectfully said, "Can we talk about this relationship?" And I went, "Absolutely, we can." Because I wanted to too, but I didn't want
Yeah, right.
to impose any of my thoughts on her.
Mhm.
My, you know, gut instinct about it is Natasha. I wanted to hear exactly what she wanted to say, because she has I mean, harder is a wrong word, but her challenge to do the Rubik's Cube of how do I get
Yeah.
to this guy has kicked my kids out of school and wants to shut down the school, to, hey, do you want to come over for dinner?
Mhm.
Like, how do you track that? And she, talked about the challenges that she had, but obviously doing it for her children, doing it for her husband,
Mhm.
doing it for, um, a sense of keeping your friends, close enemies closer. Um, but there's just something so um, deeply vulnerable about inviting someone to dinner,
Mm.
particularly whom you don't like. And I
Right.
wanted to honor that. And so we would have these conversations in the green room in between each of the setups. And by the end of it, we were really like, okay, I think we may have something here. I think it was important to, even though she's serving me food, to continue to treat her as less than. So she has even further to go, to
Mhm.
not be, oh, that looks delicious. Thank you. She puts the plate down, flip the napkin, and still be um, a difficult person to want to invite over, which makes her journey even harder. As opposed to being nice, and that's the reason she invites me over.
Right. Yeah.
It's I'm being generous and magnanimous in spite of. And so in the end, both journeys travel further, and there's hopefully more of a payoff.
It was beautiful, and I love it because your character's so neat and just so, and he gets soaked in the rain and has to wear someone else's clothes. How humbling is that? Like, the writer who wrote that scene? Do we know? I don't remember who wrote that scene, but I mean, not the scene, that episode. I just love that they did that. I thought it was great.
So there's certain things that happen, as an actor, and you just go, "Thank you. Thank you." There's an expression I have, NAR, no acting required. I mean,
Mhm.
I walk so it was so funny, because there's just outside the door, and we knock, there's like basically a hose and a rain tower.
Yes.
And there's a guy like, "You guys ready?" I would think, and they kind of giggle, and we go, "I think we're wet enough." When we'd walk in and the director cut, "They're not wet enough." They're what? So
Oh,
he wanted us
right.
dripping.
Yes.
So you don't have to do a lot. You're soaking wet, you're cold, you're invited in where it's warm, there's food, and you get a dry change of clothes.
It-
Like
just go with
it's
it.
amazing. So I thought the rain tower was just a brilliant way. It's just a great equalizer. You know, everyone gets cold, everyone gets wet, everyone gets hungry.
I remember Chris was talking about, he and Erin had a scene from the season before where they were on a picnic, and they have to run into the car because it rains. And he said that you'll see them laugh and their expression. He said that's real because they didn't know how wet and soaked like that they were going to get. So it was kind of like the same. And I had that in the back of my
Oh
mind.
my gosh.
Wonder if he knew how wet he was really going to get.
I had no idea. I literally had no idea. But it was almost like Viv and I are, preset. So, before action, we're at the door and we start with the knock. And 2 times we walk in to cut, get them wetter. Cut, get them wetter. So by the time we walked in, I mean, literally like drenched. And I wasn't expecting that, but I loved it and I welcomed it. And it really helped on a physical
I can't imagine
way.
that they're not getting a thrill. Like we're bringing out, we're gonna trench them today. Like they're probably gonna chuckle over that,
The guys running the rain towers were having the best time, and we'd be like, "Okay, guys," and they would just hose us down and chuckle, and not in a fun way, not in like and we're all doing this together. I just got to follow orders. I have to soak you.
I think your comment, Roxanne, about the humbling experience, I think the writers did do a brilliant job on this because it's, in retrospect, what they were doing was they were breaking Landis down, humbling him. He's wet. He's lost his dignity. He's got to have dinner with these people. He thinks he's better than they are, but yet he has to maintain a facade of being polite and nice. And they had to just totally break him down in order for him to be vulnerable enough to finally face the truth of his life. You know what I mean? It's
100%.
They did a fantastic job, as did you and Natasha and Viv and the kids. And just really.
And
putting on Mr. Canfield's clothes was just so
that's what I mean. Like
just they didn't particularly fit, and Mr. Landis would be like, I don't have a tie, where's my umbrella?
Because he's all about dignity.
Oh, right. And it's just like, hey man, they're dry and warm. You want them or not?
I know. Now, guess who wrote that? I wasn't sure if it was, but Peter wrote that episode. So that's why it's so good, because the man, not that I don't think the others are good too, but there are certain things I can tell. I'm like, because he's been there so long and he has all these little details, and he's also directing. So I'm like, if he wrote that episode.
Yeah. And, just, on the theme of just the human level of being cold, being wet. I mean, we all need warmth. We all need sustenance. I feel like a stroke of genius for Peter too, by way of connection of the music. Like our hearts will open when you hear beautiful music. It just is a common denominator, and it just brings everyone down to the same level.
So Todd,
go ahead.
Yeah,
we share a brain here.
We do. Go ahead.
So, Todd, do you have any thought on where Landis is now? So when we last saw him, he had found his passion. He's like, did he go back and quit the job as the superintendent? What is he doing now?
Yeah. Well, he talked about being a music teacher, wanting to get back into that, finding his passion. I think there was even, an allusion to the fact that he had to sort of take on the persona of this strict school superintendent, but he was never comfortable with it in the first place. But in order to do what he needed to do, he had to sort of put on this persona that wasn't truly who he was. So, when you scrape away all that, I think finding that love of music again, an epiphany of sorts to go back to teaching, to go back to connecting with kids, not bullying or demanding of kids, but to actually connect with kids and teach music. So I suspect he is has a private music school / studio. I think he has probably left the traditional school structure and is doing it on his own terms and not beholden to higher ups to do X, Y, and Z. He's doing it the way he wants to.
I picture him smiling a lot more.
Yeah,
I picture him smiling a lot
having more
more.
of a jaunty walk instead of being stiff and
umbrella.
repressed.
The umbrella used to
absolutely.
work. You had that umbrella all the time and got drenched anyway.
Yeah.
Right? Didn't really come in all that. Well, it was funny because, the director on the day wanted that umbrella to be tattered and torn, and it was bent like when we came in, and I just got to a point where I just had to, chuck it outside. The umbrella, which is, kind of a metaphor for the protection and, being cloistered. I mean, that metaphor was, destroyed. And so, what are you without your umbrella?
I love it.
Kind of thing.
I love it. When you were saying getting back, he would be getting back with the children. Lillian, she put up when Angela says to Mr. Landis, don't get back. Yeah. That was a good one.
Yeah. And I feel like, that decision is on her terms. That decision is, it's not asking permission. It's not, it's just an organic expression of that connection that she owns and she initiates.
Right.
So it's that, so much, the status transfer is almost complete in that moment.
Yes.
And I'm like, I can't, what is, she's playing from the heart. She's playing on feel, and I'm more of a by rote. These are the notes that we play, and she's just moving into an area that I can hope to move into one day. But you got to have a pretty, open heart and soul to get to that place.
Well, I think you kind of, the next time we see you in the saloon having a good old time off to the side, I think you were feeling it then, which was fun.
Yes.
A lot of humor that went with it. It was cute just from the expression on Erin's face and the whole little side conversation. So are you surprised? I'm sure you're not, but are you surprised that it's 10 seasons, kind of talked about this, and a 100th episode that is coming up in the 10th season? Are you surprised or you're like, no, I knew they'd do it?
Well, there's something, I mean, I don't know enough about the production side of things. Right. I mean, I think anytime a show, how many shows go 10 seasons?
Right.
Not a lot
nowadays.
It's pretty rare. So, it's obviously, a testament to
all of them.
All of them.
Chemistry
all of them.
All of them behind the scenes and on the scenes. It's something pretty some people would call it magical, some people would call it a blessing, like there's and everybody says that. Everyone, even if you're there for one day or you're there for a season.
That it's the characters, whether they're the full-time, permanent cast, or the characters that come in, like Mr. Landis, like so many others that we've had on and talked to and talked about. They're memorable. And I can't think of any character who came in as a recurring or a one-off.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, we want to see you back. They just make such an impression.
I thank you so much. I thank you. I appreciate that. It's just, it's just, anytime an actor gets to act, forget about it. It's as good as it gets. And then you get to act with, a cast that is, like Erin, for example, I'm just reading these scripts and she's in every scene and she's got dialogue and emotions. And, we would, you sort of have your first blocking rehearsal and you kind of know the lines, you kind of know. She'd never had a script. She never dropped a line, like consummate professional. generous, and I think there's a real, that trickles down. Like that just, trickles down. Like we're here to like have fun, but like we're here to like work and get the job
Tell a
done.
story. Yeah, tell your story.
Yeah,
Was there any? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
well, no, and just to say, so anytime you get to act, it's it's a bonus. But anytime you get to act on a show where you have an arc, where it's meaningful, where it's
Made a difference.
yeah, it really is. I feel very a lot of gratitude for that opportunity and experience.
Go ahead, Kathy. Were you going to say something?
Just one last question. I'll be quiet. Was there any character that you didn't have occasion to have a scene with that you would have loved to have a scene
with? Yeah.
I mean, because I know Pascal, like, and we had little crosses and little looks and but we didn't have a scene.
Yeah.
We didn't have a scene. And, she's been with the show since day one and, so knowledgeable. And I know her like personally, professionally. So to see her like on set, do her thing as a friend, I'm like, you go, girl. Like, she's just, it's amazing. So yeah, I maybe there'll be an opportunity for Landis. And
I have a request. Since you know Pascal, you should pass along that she should come on our podcast, because she is one of the people that I cannot get to come on, and we've had all kinds of people. So you should say, Pascal, Kathy and Roxanne are wonderful. You should go, when you're invited, jump on.
I will pass that along.
Okay.
I will pass that along. Yeah. Yes, definitely. Definitely.
Now listen, I don't know if you could see it, but that's what I say to my students. Listen to me. Yeah. Sorry.
Okay.
In the right-hand corner, there is a comment section. I don't know if you could see the box or not, but I'm going to put it up on the screen. So they're showing you love, and they have some questions for you.
Great.
Martha, she's telling you, great job. This is when we first started. Great job in season 9.
Thank you so much, Martha.
Bryson, it looks like, is saying, hey, Todd. Sometimes your friends are here, so you might know some of these people.
Oh, yeah.
Karen saying welcome. And Christine is saying, hello, everyone. So excited to see you, Todd.
Hello.
So now here are some of the comments about your character.
Okay.
Rona saying, I know, went from disliking Landis to really liking Augustus this season.
Yes.
It's been good. Yeah.
Thank you, Rana.
And Martha saying, hope to see you again on When Calls the Heart, which we already talked about.
Me too, Martha. Me too. They will be playing at the wedding.
He's no longer, if someone calls him Augustus, I picture him now saying, call me Gus. He's
totally.
so much happier now.
Yeah, Augustus is so pretentious, isn't it? Such a pretentious name. Yeah.
Jan is saying, I believe you, Todd, have worked with Peacock on Haley Dean Mysteries. Were you able to reconnect?
Janice, I did in fact work with Viv on the Haley Dean Mysteries. Viv is Vancouver actor. I think he's originally from Chicago. I do some voice work with Viv. He is just like, he's just like the nicest guy. He's just he's just a kind man, generous. He has no ego. Just a pleasure to work with. So Janice, to your point, when we were back in Hope Valley, I mean, I was just like,
Union.
I give him a big hug. I got to meet his kids. We chat. He's just a wonderful guy. I love Viv. Really good guy.
I talked with Mark yesterday, and Mark Brandon, and he was saying the same thing. He knows Viv. He goes, we were hugging, we had our arms around each other when we were, in a scene. I don't even know if they were in a scene together, but if they weren't in their scenes, and we were just talking, we couldn't get enough of visiting together. So everyone says that. And he's a cutie. He was on, and we were talking about, I'm like, hello, your brother, your daughter, your son. I mean, my goodness. Like, they're all
Yeah.
talented.
Yeah. Truly. Yeah.
All right, this is
Yeah.
Teresa. I know her as Tia. She says, I believe that both Landis and Minnie were released from their long held bitterness. Landis over his loss of teaching music, and Minnie having to fight so hard for her daughter's education. So
Yeah.
it was like they kind of had that connection. There was just something so tragic.
Help each other heal.
Yeah.
And Christina, she's saying great actor.
Thank you, Christina. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Brian says, I wish I could play.
I do too, Brian. I do too. I cannot. But the guy who came in to play it, wow.
What?
Amazing.
You're going to understand that I have no musical talent. Can you play something like that or a version of it on the guitar?
With the, if you gave me a couple of weeks, I probably could. Like I'd have to sit with it and pluck it out. But yeah, if I
Put your mind to it, you could.
Yeah.
I'm gonna after when we're done, I'm gonna see if I can find someone doing it like on YouTube or something.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm sure there's probably a guitar lesson on YouTube for that. Yeah, probably.
Martha says, my favorite scene is when you got glued to the desk. Great acting from all of you.
So I want to shout out to the props guys.
Okay.
Because to have to act, this hat is stuck, is tricky. They actually glued the hat and they got it to a consistency that I did have to fight with it. So thank you for that comment, Martha. It was a real bonus to have the props department not just put a hat on the desk, but they actually they glued it.
That was good.
Amazing. Yeah.
Teamwork makes
the dream work. Yes.
So Kathy is saying hi. She was finally able to come on, so she's missed some of our lives. Oh my goodness, how can that be? Looking forward to hearing if Todd will be coming back to When Calls the Heart. So this is someone else who would like you back, and we already said all this. And she loved your transition from Grinchy.
Curmudgeon. That sounds that about says it. Yeah, that's what
to enthralling, talented musician. She's musical herself. I know that she sings. So I love this. Grinchy.
Grinchy curmudgeon. She could have said Grinchy or curmudgeon, but she put them together. That's fine. Yeah.
Jan saying, how about Landis comes back to give LJ music lessons as opposed to Rosemary or some other regulars teaching him? Yeah.
I like that.
Yes.
And
go ahead.
I just was struck to enable you and Pascal to have more scenes. Pascal decides to do a little matchmaking for you.
Yes. Because you know how she likes to do matchmaking.
She likes that. Yeah.
Yes.
We don't even want any commission on this, but when we get you back on the show.
Yeah. And she has a friend who needs to learn how to play piano.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Jeanette.
Oh, Jeanette. Jeanette. She is Lucas's friend that we haven't met yet. We've only heard a lot about her. So we're always wishing she would come on and be a real person we could see. And then we're always trying to pair her up with different people.
Yeah, right.
You're in the lineup. You can play beautiful music to her and woo her.
Yeah. But the matchmaking angle, I like that one too. Yeah.
We have a question from Christine. Christina says, do you stay in touch with the cast and crew? You kind of told us a little bit, right?
Yeah. Viv and I worked last week together on a voice project.
Wow.
Yeah. And Peter and I, our paths have crossed a couple of times. But that's really about it. Yeah.
That's enough.
Mm-hmm.
Now this, I have to tell you this story. So the gooey butter cake, do you remember this being, because I don't think it actually was something that you tried or tasted. So um I'm gonna say Viv and Natasha, but I mean Minnie's away, and her husband Joseph is running everything in the cafe, and he
Yeah.
makes that gooey butter cake, which is a real thing in the United States, out in the
Okay.
Midwest.
Okay.
I grew up on it, even though I don't live in the Midwest. I'm from South Jersey. On my mother's favorite, we grew up on it.
Okay.
So they actually were eating it. They took pieces of it away, and they were eating, and that's why Brian says, was that a prop? But I don't know if you would remember.
I don't recall. It's not a prop until the props department says it's not a prop.
Gotcha.
And so if it's part of the scene, then yes, you are, allowed to eat it. But for example, if there's a shot and, they're walking by the baker or whatever, and
Yes.
they have the gooey
Beautiful.
butter cake set up,
Mhm.
then that would be deemed a
no-no.
prop. That would be a no-no. Yeah. Yeah.
Jean is saying, was the cranberry muffin a prop, and was it hot?
It was not hot. It was a real muffin. And it wasn't a particularly tasty muffin. I
It
must
wasn't?
admit.
No.
Not particularly. No.
Bill must have made it.
Bill.
Exactly. Yeah.
Bill
Yeah.
thinks he's a great cook, but
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Now,
yeah.
this is about me. I
Yes.
and it wasn't from this scene. The cranberry muffin has been before in the show, and I would do these recipes that came, like, they would be inspired by the show, and I did a cranberry muffin recipe once, and the twist on it was, instead of cranberry, it was like that cranberry sauce. You put it in the center. Different. You may have liked that. I should probably help Crafty out.
It's sort of like, like Bubblicious back in the day. When you chew it, it had like the center, like explode. You would make the Bubblicious version of the cranberry muffin.
Oh, goodness.
Good. Yes, you could help out Crafty with that. Yeah.
Christine said there was also the scene with her in front of the school. She's talking about the same cranberry muffin. And it's funny that you remember that it wasn't tasty.
Yeah. They're in front of the school and it's freshly baked cranberry. Yeah.
Robert would deliver cranberry muffins to
yes,
Rosemary too.
That's what
have they never heard of blueberries?
It's got to be cranberry.
Actually,
cranberry or bust.
There were blueberries, and it was a special blueberry pancakes and I made a recipe for that too, that Bill made in the season prior, season 8, when there was the big explosion, and he made special pancakes for the hero, which was
Michael. They got extra. They got extra blueberries.
Extra. They look good too. Todd, thank you for explaining the scene. It was magic to watch, and they're talking about you telling all the details.
Oh, great. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you.
We love it because then we go back and we see things with like a different eye. And
for sure. Yeah. No, I get that.
Like, you know what's going to happen, but you see it differently. So it's another enjoyable experience. Kathy said, Minnie may have learned through her interaction with Carson Shepard. That's true. The doctor at the time, when he revived her trust in doctors. And I think that may have inspired her to reach out to Mr. Landis. Yes. So there was a beautiful scene between them in the season before that, where she said that he helped her get the bitterness out of her heart. And maybe that is like the catalyst that, inspired the whole journey the two of you take.
Yeah, absolutely. And how much better it feels to, exorcise that bitterness.
Yeah. Now this is Robin, when we were talking about the shower that you had. As Chris was saying, Chris said, even with all the rain we get in Vancouver, they still need the rain towers for it to show. Yeah.
Properly.
And they're saying thank you for explaining it.
Yeah.
The scene where Minnie invited you to dinner and Elizabeth says you did. Did anybody crack up, or did you have to redo the scene over?
No, when Elizabeth said, I get, I don't know that I was privy to that interaction. I don't know. I don't know.
This is cute. Rest in peace to Mr. Landis's umbrella.
Yeah, nice to have that. It's a nice prop. It says a lot about someone who, you kind of struck with that umbrella, and it says a lot. Yeah.
Robin's telling you that your scenes were heartfelt and meaningful, and
thank you, Robin. Thank you so much. Really kind of you to say. Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
We've got Gloria. I'm enjoying the path which Todd believes Mr. Landis has taken, and the vision of how Landis' life probably looks. So remember, you're asking what happened.
Yeah, what he's doing now.
Yeah, we love that.
Yeah.
And then, of course,
thank you.
All kinds of goodies. Arlene says the argument scene between Elizabeth and Mr. Landis on a little stoop was so intimate, and you can feel the emotion. Wonderful acting.
Thank you.
And they love the glue cat.
Yeah. Thanks, Arlene. I really appreciate that comment. Thank you.
All right. And Gloria is saying, hey, Todd, so will you come back and play Moonlight Sonata on your guitar for us? Either way, I dislike Landis and ended up wanting him to come back. Your great acting won me over.
Yay.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I would love to come back and play Moonlight Sonata on guitar. I feel like now I have to go.
Yes, you have to try it. Yes, that would.
I got it. Yeah,
I actually want to hear you bang on the piano. That just sounds like it was an experience.
Oh man, it was just. I mean, it was like cats playing on the piano. It was just. It was musical nonsense, but it was fun to do. It was very fun to do.
I've got one more Win Call the Heart vibe to send out there.
Go ahead.
Angela could decide she wants to be a concert pianist. And so they have to bring back Mr. Landis to start her training.
Like a mentor. Yes.
So, okay, we've given you guys so many ideas. So let's
3-4 plot lines.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, Peter, here. Sometimes Peter stops in, but he doesn't say anything. So maybe he's here. I don't know. They're working hard trying to wrap up. But if you're here and you hear all this, you pass this along. We just gave you like all kinds of material for season 11. Okay.
Yeah.
Love it. I love it. Thank you.
You were wonderful. I can't believe it's almost an hour chatting.
You stayed with us for so long.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me on. Very nice to meet you both. And anytime. I really appreciate the time.
Thank you. You have a good one.
Okay. Thanks so much.
Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Hello. Wow. Janice said she loves your idea. That's a really good one, she thinks. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Everyone's saying great to meet him and they love the conversation. All right. So this is where you could take a little break. If you need a potty break, you need a drink, you need to stretch. And then we're going to get into, we've dissected this one. We've met with all the actors, the writers. I mean, we've really talked a lot about it. And I just have I'm going to finally make some predictions because I really didn't predict a lot because I thought too much was wrapped up. And then Kathy, you're going to put in your 2 cents too, correct?
Yeah, only get 2 cents. Okay.
I'll let you have more than 2 cents. You can have a whole $1.
Thank you.
Where are you today, by the way, Kathy? I see it right there.
You know, I thought I'd save time because I'm meeting a certain someone. I don't know if you can see it here. I'm meeting someone at the Kissing Bridge as soon as this podcast is over. So I thought I'd just get a head start and kind of hang out nearby.
And the cute little house that's in the back. I remember when people were analyzing that bridge, they're like, that's Lucas's house in the back. And I remember the people who actually run the farm and live on the farm said, I almost feel like that's not even part of their property. It's actually part of someone else's or something. I don't know. But like it's a border back there. But that I'm going to talk about where Lucas lives. That's part of my prediction that I've got going on here. But in all my big notes that I have to find my list.
You know what that little house looks like? It looks like the house where Elizabeth had to stay alone from the original movie. That's what it looks like.
Does.
Yeah.
That's funny that you say that. And try to live on her own. And then her sister makes her have
all kinds of disasters. Yeah.
I know. All right. No, it's part of the property, Martha. There is, okay, if that's not part of the property, because I remember talking to them about it, there's another building then that you can see that isn't part of the property. I really thought that that house wasn't, though. I really thought it was like on the borderline or something. So then there's another building because we did talk about it. Maybe it's like, it's not a little shack. You could see it through the trees or something. And I remember us having that whole conversation. Frank Cumming, huh? Huh? What's that mean? Frank. Oh, Arlene. Okay. Kathy, Frank's coming along.
See, I wasn't going to say anything, but
Martha, I'm sorry. I know you may have seen it. Did you ask, though, if that was their property line or not? There's something about, and maybe it is, maybe you're correct about that, but there's another piece, another property, if it's not that, that's very close by. But I think that one is like perfect to think that it's, oh, there's a house in the woods for Lucas and Elizabeth. I don't know, but that's whatever. Okay. So are we ready, Miss Kathy? What did you want to say about season 9? What did you learn from season 9?
I don't know if I learned anything new. I was just really, really digging on the deepening of who else, Lucas and Elizabeth's relationship.
Sure.
I really got into that. I enjoyed the fact that Nathan and Lucas seemed to start approaching a healing of the rift between them. There was still, I think Nathan's go-to emotion is sarcasm, which he can be kind of funny sometimes, but I think that they're on their way to healing. And I've always said they're going to end up being besties.
We always said that. Yeah.
Yeah. The drama with the mine, I liked some aspects of it. I found Fiona very irritating. It just seems like she was off making decisions on her own without checking or thinking, and she caused a lot of drama that didn't need to happen. But by the end of the season, I just love the way it wrapped up, except for the whole, I still am not sure if the whole let's blame Lucas for this, that, and the other was part of the plan, or if they decided to, they were going to do a 180. Bill, sometimes I just can't figure him out. I know he sometimes just jumps to conclusions, and I don't know if he was jumping to a conclusion or if he really believed what he was putting down there. So I guess Lucas Elizabeth stuff, 150%. I just thought they just outdid themselves at carrying that relationship forward. And 2 words for the star, the MVP for the whole season, Little Jack. I just think if they had to recast that part, they couldn't have found anyone better. He is just, and you know what? The highlight of the season really was the bonding with Little Jack and Lucas. I mean, I kind of enjoyed that almost as much, if not more, than Elizabeth and Lucas, because it was just precious how they got together and how Elizabeth, kind of slowly realized that Lucas was ready to step into that role. And you remember when Laura got the measles? Am I in the right season? And she couldn't find a babysitter.
They was it measles that went around? They were all sick and something went around.
Yeah, it is. Chickenpox, yeah.
No, I think chickenpox was before. This really was something else that was going on. Yeah.
And he volunteered to step up, and the kids were so cute. So, are you going to marry Mr. Bouchard? And
I know. And it's funny because what it was Emily, I think you said, she kind of said the same thing with Jack when they, when they had a cool little scene like that before. It was the flu. They're telling us the flu. Yes.
Okay.
So okay, so I'm going to dive into this one. So this one is, and we're not going to fight, not you and I, we won't fight, but we're not going to fight in the chat, and we're not going to go cuckoo. And I am going to use the word triangle. This is what I learned. I learned something before I even say triangle. When I go back and I look, there were so many different stories, and they did all weave and connect. And we talked about that. Mm-hmm. And when I look back at it again, I'm thinking to myself, it was more than ever before. And I'm hoping that it isn't as much in the next season. And the reason why I'm hoping that is because we needed more time, and I felt like some of the storylines were rushed, and we lost some good storytelling. Do you know what I mean?
No.
And we're smart viewers. We know all about the story and the details, and we're all like, what? What do you mean? What? Why would you, So I hope that it goes back more towards not so many storylines. I know that the cast is the same, but not everybody used to have as big as a part as they do now. And I'm okay with them having that, but I feel like their storylines have to be more cohesive and together. Like make a storyline that is Rosemary and Lee with Viv and Natasha. Well, I'm crossing over their real names and their show names, but with Minnie and Joseph and the four of them and their family being affected by something together, even with Elizabeth and Lucas attached to that, and the six of them trying to figure it out. I want something like more cohesive.
It needs to be character driven. It needs to come out of
Yeah.
character, not
Yes.
because we need something for this character and this character to do.
Right. All these separate things. So now this is me and jump in at any time. So these are my predictions here. I wanted to talk about the how, why, who would even hint at another triangle. And that's what they did. When I went back and I went and I watched this, I'm thinking, this is a triangle. It's just a passive aggressive triangle that they threw into the storyline. So we have two people that are friendly. They've known each other. They have a past. Two women with a past that know each other. And now here they are. And they both have jobs that are not common for women. Do you know what I mean? So they should be bonding and supporting each other together. And what do? You throw a man in the mix who's clueless. He's not clueless as a man, but he's like clueless to what is going on between the women because he has his own thing he's trying to deal with. You know what I mean? So here he is. And I don't even think he realized how close they were and that there was something happening. So I'm like, why? And why would you do it with that character? So I was
because
mad.
he just came out of a triangle.
Yes. But that wasn't even really a triangle to me. This one for real was a triangle to me more than the other. We knew how he felt. I get that. But when you think about it, what real date did Nathan and Elizabeth go on? They never got there, right? However, in this season, he went on a real date. He went and had dinner and intimate conversations with May, right? Now, what did he have with Faith? They had a lot of conversations together about just life in general, and you could see that there was some kind of attraction there, especially on Faith's part, and they had their jokes and the ideas, and they supported each other. I get that. And she admits that she has feelings. She doesn't tell him, but she has the whole conversation with Molly. So I'm like, okay, we cannot roll into the next season with this. This has got to be done and over with. So I keep trying to figure out, is it going to be May? Is it going to be Molly? Or is it going to be someone totally different? I don't feel like it's going to be somebody different. I feel like it's going to be one of them. And what do you think, Kathy? Do you think it would be Faith or do you think it would be May? What do you think?
I think it would be May. Because as of right now, as of what we saw in season 9, there's no other storyline for her unless they're going to build something next season.
Yeah.
Her sole purpose there was, to come there and be the pharmacist. And her first interaction, was it her first interaction? Her first interaction was with Little Jack. But, she didn't need rescuing, but still, Nathan was there for her and he worried about her. I don't know. I saw more chemistry between him and May than I did with him and Faith. That's really where this is coming from.
And then you see Faith at the end and say, notice she's back, and they see each other and they're having that conversation, May and Nathan, and Faith is watching it. And when she's talking to Molly's like, well, how do you feel about this? And she's like, I'm okay with it, because I should have never been feeling this in the first place, because he was my patient. And I can see where they have to overcome, and it would make a little complication thing, but I see so many other opportunities for Faith with other people.
I do too.
And
and she's, when is she due? Is she going to leave town for season 10, or?
No, she made it. They're done.
They made it through before her pregnancy.
Yeah, she'll be. Yeah, she doesn't have to leave for this one. Now, when she return, I don't know what her leave is going to be. I don't know when she would return for 11, but she'll be in for the whole season. Yeah.
And there's been no talk of Paul coming back.
Not that I know of. I have no idea about that one. I don't think that he would be coming back, though. I think that if he came back, he would be coming back as a guest.
I'd rather see Faith with someone totally new. And I don't mean necessarily a new actor or new character, but just someone other than Nathan. Nathan has been recycled with triangles enough. Let's just
and he also I don't know. I feel like they have like a spirit, like an underlying spiciness to them, and that they could explore it like even more. So
let's not forget about the Newton factor.
Yes. Oh yes, absolutely.
Newton is Team May.
Yes, he is. He is Team May. You're right. Cindy was saying, and this is true, you are correct, Cindy, that the triangle really was Elizabeth Lucas and Jack's memory. You were absolutely correct with that. Yes. Now, Christine is saying Nathan and May went on real dates this season. Yeah, they did. Yep. They had real dates. That's what I mean. They had real dates. That's why I'm saying, hey, you made a triangle. People are just going crazy about no triangle, no more triangles, but they may make it a quadrangle for all we know, with another female character, maybe Fiona. Oh, good. Avis. Are you? No.
Please, no.
No.
Gooey butter cake notwithstanding.
Yeah. She thinks it would be May also. Now, those are just my thoughts, just from what I'm seeing and how things are going. But that doesn't mean a thing. You have no idea. They could go off and do whatever they want. But just from the signs, I'm going with the signs that were in that season. So now, what is my wish? You all know my wish. My wish is that Nathan goes with, like, Nathan and Fiona get together. That is my wish. They have amazing chemistry when they are together in whatever scenes they're in. She's very spicy. And she reminds me of a grown-up Allie. I can see, like, so much in that relationship. But that's just me. However,
I thought she had amazing chemistry with Arthur Gilchrist. I'd love to see them back.
You are absolutely correct.
And they are so opposite. They're more opposite with each other than she and Nathan are.
Yes.
And yes. Would I love to see that.
Now, I'm thinking, though, if you think about that, would they be willing to add another character? And I would be okay if they were adding another character to the cast, as long as these storylines, again, are cohesive, like it's several of them together overcoming something. Viola says, I think that Nathan and Faith were a reverse situation where the doctor was attracted to the patient instead of vice versa. You are correct. Yeah. Yep. Yes. I completely agree. Oh, I'm going to read this one because she agrees with me. Nikki says, I completely agree, Roxanne. Too many people, too many stories, too many fluff scenes that were not necessary. That time could have been used for more with the main characters. Okay. All right. So now, Viola thinks that they're going to be a couple because of the season 9 poster, the way they met and the bond that May and Allie formed, as well as Nathan. I hear you. I hear you. Now, Avis is saying she hopes that Arthur comes back. And I do too. So this brings us now into Fiona. So Fiona is supposed to have a big storyline this season. And you've heard me say this before. And I think, thank you that she will, because she was a hot mess and her storyline was all over the place. It made it weak. We need to focus. And I think we're going to finally get to learn more about her family. We know she's like one of 8. We know where she's from. We know, I think we're going to find out more about her family because we don't know much. And if she's got a big storyline, how could you not know something about the family, or at least meet one of the family members? And how could, and I also think that they're finally going to give her like one job. It was like everybody had 42 jobs in season 9. That's my other prediction. We're going to pare down what we're doing here. So I think that Fiona, or she doesn't really help with the telephone anymore. She going to be cutting hair at the salon, or is she part of the oil business? Like something, don't you think? Like,
absolutely. Pick a career. Pick a career.
Pick a career. And it don't mean that you have to step back and say, oh, the oil business wasn't for me, so I'm going to be cutting hair. I'm not saying that either.
Make a decision either way.
Yeah, something.
Mm-hmm.
Just make a decision, because it's driving me crazy. And I think they will. And I think she's going to have a journey. And I hate to say this, but I think that if Arthur Gilchrist is coming back, he's going to be a catalyst for her journey. I don't know. I love them together. I don't know if he's going to stay and that's going to be the man for her. She's never had her heart broken. She's broken a heart.
Yeah. She remember, doesn't she have a backstory that we don't know the details of? They've alluded to it.
She shared it in her past. And she shared it, but she broke up with him. He wasn't for her. So I think she broke his heart. Her heart hasn't been broken. She even said, yeah, I went back to Che. It just wasn't for me. And no matter amount of money, wasn't going to keep me. She alluded that he had money,
Well, I think she could have a relationship with Arthur and get her heart broken, and they could still end up together.
Oh, okay. You're rooting for that. You want him
to yeah. I really, I like the vibe between the two of them.
So did I. But I'm wondering how plausible that or economical it would be to actually add another character in.
Well, they're down 2 characters. Have they filled even one of them?
Who are they down?
Jesse and Clara.
Well, because they introduced the whole Canfield family. So we gained 4 that time that they made them leave. So we at that
were around way before Jesse and Clara left, or am I crazy?
No, they weren't. They haven't been in that many seasons. This is their 3rd season. The season that they left is the season they came on. Yeah. So I think they were just, I don't know, just sometimes when a story ends, but I could see where.
Oh, and Janice reminded me, Carson left too.
Yes. So but they gained those 4, you know what I mean? Those coming, but that doesn't mean anything. I mean, if they can afford it.
Yeah, the kids aren't full-time. I mean, I don't know if I consider them full-time characters yet.
Okay. All right. Well, I think some way, I still think no matter what, that Arthur is a part of this new storyline.
Yeah. And I hope he's for the long haul.
Yeah. Janice is saying, yes, Fiona and Nathan are both snarky and belong together. How about Gilchrist and Faith? They are both smart individuals. No.
I like seeing a little tension between the characters. I like seeing the opposites get together.
I think that I liked him with her. Exactly. May and Faith in a triangle with Nathan. No, Nathan can never courted or dated, but with May, there were on dates and none with Faith. Please let it be May. Okay, Annie. Let it be May. And Fiona and Arthur work for me. But again, I also think that they need to, again, find the one job. And I think they are. I think that, believe it or not, I think in my mind, the way things were set up and then them listening to what the Hearties have to say, I really think that there's going to be some changes that we're going to be seeing. And one of them is that everybody's already found themselves and they don't need 42 jobs, which leads me to Joseph. You're the preacher. You're in helping with the cafe. You were a delivery person that helped with Lucas. Then you're over there, the handyman going around. Then you're Lee's leading man. How many jobs does Joseph have? Like, you're going to be the preacher? Yes. but pick something else. And then you're going to go into business with Minnie's father. Do you think we're going to get to meet Minnie's father?
I don't think we'll get to meet him in season 10.
But we're going to hear about whatever.
Yeah.
He's got to pick a job.
Yeah.
Just like Lee has to pick a job. You wanted to be
I
mayor.
know. Lee.
Now you're an editor. You used to run
Well,
the
there's
song.
now an opening for mayor again. So
Yes.
maybe he'll be mayor. But who's running the lumberyard?
Apparently Joseph, but I don't know when, because Joseph is doing everything else. So I feel like they're going to redefine people's jobs coming the next season because they're smart. They sat back and they looked at it and they're like, you know what? We need to get a grip on ourselves. We went a little hog wild here.
Yeah.
What's Christina saying right here? Okay. Well, we're going to get to that, Christina. Who do you think Mark Brandon will play? Well, if you listen and pay attention to what he said that he did quite a few. See, so this is why I feel bad, because sometimes actors say things and they don't realize what they said. I think that he said that he had scenes with Lucas, with Chris, and with Pascal and Kevin, and with Bill. I know I keep using the real names and
He didn't mention Aaron?
No, he
That's
did not have. He didn't have any scenes with her. So, and people, when he first announced that he was going to be on When Calls the Heart, people were already saying he would be Lucas's dad because he would really physically make a great job. But he said no right up front. So, and he said to us that he comes in where we're kind of happy that he's there, but then in the end, when he leaves, we're not. So I'm thinking that he has something to do with, and I'm thinking reason why he has scenes with Lucas, and then because he's staying at the saloon, right? He's going to probably have to stay at the saloon. And I think he has something to do with the oil business. You know how we've got more people coming in, and yeah. What is this? How did this even get on here? Hold on. Block user. I'm pretty good with people not coming in with junk, and they just came in with junk, but I blocked them. Okay. Sorry, back to this. I think that Lucas, I think he has scenes with Pascal and Kevin because of the newspaper of it all. So I feel like he's part of a business in some way, whether I think it might be very much I'm thinking it's the oil business, and that's why he's connected with Lucas. But if not, maybe it's more about him doing something with the newspaper, and then he's staying at the hotel, and that's why he has, I don't know, because he doesn't have any scenes with Aaron. Yeah, so those are
one of the things that it was kind of a thread that they just kind of put out there and didn't follow up on was Lee was approached about coming to work for one of the Hearst papers, I think.
Yes, yes.
And I want that was just so random, and then they never came back to it. I'm wondering if Mark has anything to do with that.
Yeah. I'm maybe. Maybe. Yes, that's why I was saying newspaper. And it's saying here, I think Fiona will something to do with the radio coming to Hope Valley, maybe with who's bringing it, a friend or a new contact from San Francisco. So the radio, I know people all started talking about how radio was coming. Where did that news come from? Like, where was that shared? Because they've limited so many things. And I have a theory as to why many of the things are being limited, but anybody could put that in the chat. How do we know that a radio station is coming to Hope Valley? I'm not disputing it. I'm just curious to know about it. They said there is no opening for mayor in the deleted scenes. Mike swore Bill in. Yeah, but you are correct. But listen, I also knew that he was mayor again because he says it. They say it, but we never saw the swearing in part. But they do address that he goes back to being mayor again. Yeah, but they don't ever show the swearing in. But thank you for sharing that. They're thinking oil company. Let's see. Just to change the subject, but okay, yes, we're going to talk about that too. But the clothing, I'm going to star that so I can come back to it. Right here. Anything you wanted to add before I keep rambling on?
No, I just Googled radio comes to Hope Valley, and it turns out, fun fact, there's a Hope Valley in Rhode Island.
Oh, cool. That's cool. I think that I'm gonna move on. I talked about Nathan. Another thing I wanted to say about Nathan is I really think that Nathan and Bill are going to do more Mountie stuff because every time they film, unless they go run in the woods, they're in the woods on the horses, walking around. Everybody's always in the woods. So I think that there's going to be some Mountie stuff going on, and we're going to see that again of Nathan, which is exciting to me. And I'm also wondering if they're in the woods because you know that whole book, that bookmobile, is Elizabeth going to go out and, you know, reach out to that family that we got to see for all of 2 minutes and she gave them books and then it went nowhere in the story? That would be a definite teaser for the next year, right? What do you think?
Yeah. They left a couple of threads kind of loose out there. One was the repercussions from the explosion.
Mm-hmm.
And the second one was what's happening with Queen of Hearts. Is that going to be rebuilt as the same structure? Is it going to be something different? What's going to happen with that?
Okay, so and that's where I thought it came from. They talked about the radio coming on the Hope Valley reunion with the showrunner introduction, which is nice. Yeah. Okay, and I find that interesting, and I think it's propelling them into the next the Roaring 20s, and maybe we will see a shift in the clothing, and I think we'll see it from the cast members. I mean, the characters that are more up on it, like we'll see it more in Fiona and Minnie, and maybe
Rosemary, maybe.
Yes, maybe Rosemary, but she's pregnant, so I don't know how different she's going to. And Elizabeth, she already before when they showed the shorter skirt, I'm not doing that, but you don't know. She might go in to get a haircut. They might slip. I don't know whoever said this. Somebody brilliant, and then they'll have to use a bob. And was that you who said
it? Was.
Getting back to Fiona, please. Fiona did not belong in the oil business. Yes, Roxanne, Fiona was a hot mess in season 9. She's a vibrant character who deserves a credible story. So I think she would be excellent in the oil business. And how it started out, she was excellent in the season before. But then they had her making all these goofy mistakes, and so not Fiona. That is not how Fiona operates. She wasn't even of her character.
That's the problem with season 9. It was plot driven as opposed to character driven, and that's why it was the hot mess that some parts of it were.
Yeah. Nikki, we haven't seen any behind the scenes of anyone, the showrunner. So I will tell you this: when I talk to certain actors, they will say that no, they can't show anything. They want nothing to be shown. And here's part of the reason why. And you've heard me say this, and I got it confirmed by people when I'm communicating back and forth with certain actors. They said that, and it's true, accidentally, they will be on their social media, right? And they'll be filming something, and then we accidentally see stuff. Like we all knew, and it was a shame. We all knew that what the new building was going to be, that it was going to be an ice cream shop. And we found out accidentally because a certain actor, I won't say his name, was shooting something totally different. And we got a blurb of it on the side and we could see it. And it was a shame because it was a secret to the town. And they even had the dance and they revealed the ice cream shop. And that's when we should have been knowing about figuring out the ice cream shop as well. And then because we're very detective-like and we see the Hanukkah stuff in the window, and I'm thinking, why would Hanukkah be in the window? And we're looking and we see all these different holidays. We didn't know exactly, but we knew something was wrong with the holidays and the time frame. So it's because we look and see too much. And they really
like it that way. I prefer not. I mean, it drives me crazy. What's going to happen? But I prefer to be surprised and just let the show unfold. Yes. No preconceived notions. Yes. Let me just watch it as it happens.
Now, I also think that they will do some kind of a facelift, absolutely, to the saloon. And this brings me to Lucas. For the love of God, if we do not address where Lucas actually lives now that he's going to be getting married to Elizabeth. Okay.
It doesn't matter. They're going to move in together.
I know, but we have to figure that out. And where are they moving in? So because of set reasons, I guess he's just moving right in with Elizabeth then, and we'll never figure it out. We're just moving right in, right there, but they're going to talk about where he lives eventually and finally. And talking about Lucas, I don't think he's going to have 42 other jobs. He too, I think he's going to be running the saloon, the oil business. Eventually, he's still with it, but eventually, he's supposed to not be. But I don't know about that.
They damaged the saloon for a reason.
Yeah,
I have no clue what the reason is, but they damaged it for a reason. So
I thought it was
curious to see what they're going to do with it. I don't think it was to make it a better looking saloon.
I think that they will upgrade it. They didn't really damage it, but they will upgrade it. I know that saloon was actually used in a whole other series that's out, Big Sky or something like that. It's called On Lifetime with Reba McEntire. She is the judge, and inside the saloon, is her courtroom, and it's that actual movie set. But yes, I think that's another reason why we don't see the behind the scenes, because they're giving little facelifts to things. Maybe the cafe is going to look different. Minnie bought it. It's hers, right? And that would be part of the surprise. And what goes on with the saloon would be part of the surprise.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that we're going to see facelifts happening, and not on the people or me. We're going to see
a wig lift. Just saying.
A wig lift. Oh, for the love of God. Oh, what's this? As Ned says, doesn't anyone in Hope Valley like a good surprise?
I do.
I know. Lucas will want to build a house for Elizabeth and LJ, and they'll be moving. Oh, as for the saloon, I think the fire was not meant to damage the saloon, but to be a part of a storyline, as do I. But I think they're going to give it a definite facelift. So, well, they're going to have to, because we can't go all back to the smoke. But here's the thing about that. I know he'll want to build a house on that. They're not building a house. There's no set, no space for the set.
We don't know that.
I doubt it. I just don't think, I don't know. Hey, I would love to be wrong. I would love that.
I think he's building them a condo on the outskirts of town.
Okay. All right. Maybe. So I talked about now the kids and Henry. Henry's going to have trial. Do you think trial's going to be off or on? It's going to already happen, or what? It's going to be one of her voiceovers that Elizabeth does, and then we're going to talk about the wedding.
I'd be surprised if they spend time on camera with the trial. I think she'll just in her journal that he was acquitted and so forth after everybody in town testified on his behalf.
Okay. Kind of let it drop, let it go.
Yeah.
A reason for an upgrade to the saloon. Someone that went to the Hope Valley reunion, tell us what the saloon looked like inside.
One in.
Yeah, I know. It wasn't. They didn't. It wasn't like certain people would be privy and they would hope that they didn't say anything. Yeah. And that people already had said that. Okay, so Lucas and Elizabeth will get married. I think we'll see a wedding. I'm thinking, I really am thinking that the wedding would be small and intimate, and the reception will be big. I think that's what I'm leaning towards. I don't think it's going to be another big, long wedding, because whenever there's a wedding in a season, it takes up the whole season. And I don't think that we would do that all over again. I think it would be something that would be intimate, and then the reception would be big. And I don't think it's the 100th episode. I really think the 100th episode involves a flashback in some way, or a flash forward. I really think that there's going to be flashbacking and forward in this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's just something that I keep coming back to. And I think I covered all the points of all the things I wanted to say. A whole lot of nothing, I think. No. What do you all have out there?
You know what I think? I think against all odds, and I'm sure everybody's going to tell me I'm all wet, especially you, Roxanne. I think Abigail may show up.
She's very much involved in GAC, so I don't think she will be.
Well, see, I knew you were going to say that, but I stand by that. I think she may show up in season 10.
Okay. And I wonder if the 100th episode is flashbacks. I'm not saying all of it is. And that's kind of a cliche thing. A lot of series, when they have a milestone episode, does flashbacks. I just think that flashbacks or flash forwards are going to be somehow incorporated in the season and part of season one. Episode, the 100th episode. I'm not saying all of it is, but for some reason, I think something like that. Yeah. Will there be a combined bridal shower and bachelor party? Upgrades only, I think, to the saloon. I don't know. I think Minnie's place will have some, because they already remember who was running around acting like decorator? Molly. So I think she's decorating up a storm, and that's part of the reason. That's another one they gave 42 jobs with. Like, well, you have to add more jobs to her. She's going to write an article for a column for the newspaper on etiquette, and then she's going to be decorating, and then she's helping it. Why do we all, we're giving them too many jobs.
Yeah, the clinic might have a kind of new look, because you remember they were talking about new equipment and new things. It could be a lot of the sets get a little freshening.
Yeah. Yes. Like I really think that. And I was going to say something else, and it was in my head and out of my head, and I don't remember. I'm wondering if we're going to learn more about Pascal's family. Like where is her family now that she's going to become a mom? Like, because we really don't know much about her family. And I mean, we know her father was a Mountie. We know that Jack's mother is like a mom to her. Mm-hmm. She'll be having a baby. We know all about Lee's family now, and we've met them. And I'm just wondering, yeah. Has she finished her issues with the jail time? If not, Abigail may not be able to stay out of the U.S. long enough to do the season. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Sure. Maybe Mark is Pascal's father. No, Pascal's father was a Mountie, and if I'm not mistaken, he passed away. I don't think he's alive. Yeah, no, he was a Mountie, her dad. All right. I was going to say something and I forgot what it was. So let's talk about, okay, do you want to do our present that we got, you and I together?
Sure.
So we have a viewer who sent Kathy and I both a present, and we have to open it together. But I know why she sent it, and I truly appreciate that she did. But and I'll read a little thing too. But we in no way want you to suddenly send us presents, okay? Nikki.
Unless it's Pastor Frank and you poke air holes in there, that's acceptable.
You're bratty. Nikki's saying Goldie Hawn should be Rosemary's mom, and Janice is like, really, Nikki? Don't start arguing, people.
Well, that would make Kurt Russell.
Oh gosh,
he could be Lucas's dad, and yeah, I could see that.
You know what would be funny though is if. I think it would be funny if I know Lucas's parents are still married, but it would be funny if we got to meet like one of the characters' moms, and then the other character's dad came in, and the two of them look like they're single. They were going to date. And then the two characters be like, I think that would be funny, even if it was just for an episode or two. All right. So I got mine out to you. I have my box open, but I don't know what it is. And I have a note. And the note says, oh, no girl should miss out on her teenage fantasy. Oh,
maybe Frank is in here.
Oh, maybe my teenage fantasy's in here. I'm going to wait for you. Oh, for the love of God. I'm waiting for you, Kathy. I'm assuming it's kind of like what I have.
Well, I need my scissors.
Don't hurt yourself. So while she's still opening it, people, this is it for this series, but we'll be back. We're going to do a Hearties Christmas party, and it'll be on a Monday night, right, Kathy? Is it the 5th? When is it the 5th? Well, I get my days mixed up. In December, we're going to do it. I have thought that too, Kathy, or a cameo for sure with Abigail. All right. I already know what mine is. Ah! Take yours out. Somebody. Oh, you got it.
Can you see this?
Oh, that's a great picture of him.
Oh my word.
Oh my. And look. And it's a pillow. Sweet dreams are made of these. I can't sing. Oh, that's great.
I so want to launch into the whole theme song from what is it? Doug Pinhall.
What is it? Can you sing?
No, that's why I'm not doing it.
Okay, I can't sing either.
I said I wanted to.
Oh, okay. I'm so excited. Oh gosh, a Frank and a Peter pillow. You know what? Christina guessed it, and it's true. That's what it is. I didn't take it out of the bag. Oh my gosh, dear Lord. And then wait, Peter and Frank, if they ever come on, we'll have to take these out.
Wait a minute. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to explain this to my kids.
My family won't care. I have Harry Styles pillow somebody gave me because I love Harry Styles. Oh my God. Look at that. And look at that face. That's the face. That's the poster on my wall, by the way.
My dream has come true. Me and Pastor Frank at the Kissing Bridge.
Oh, well, wait a minute.
This is the best. Thank you.
Thank you so muGod, it's so great. Oh gosh, let me get that off so I don't have to.
I'm waiting for Mark Humphrey to send me a cease and desist. I tell you. Oh my gosh. I should probably lay off.
Oh, the pillow will never leave Kathy's side. I need more than a pillow of Chris. Oh dear. Who now, Jan? We need to we gotta keep it clean. Okay, wait. Annie's just ignoring all of that we just did, and she's back to business. And she says, "No trial for Henry."
I like that discipline, Annie.
Charges will be dropped. Lucas and Elizabeth will have an intimate wedding with sweet vows, and the town will put a spectacular reception with Chinese lanterns. Listen, Annie, I truly think that they will have an intimate wedding and then a big reception. I do. Yeah, I do.
Maybe those lanterns that Lucas set off at Christmas time a couple years ago will finally drift back into the vicinity and
be like a little surprise. So thank you everyone for tuning in. We appreciate that you came in along for the ride for us. We have more planned for you, right? Kathy, we are going to do a Hearties Christmas party. And it's going to let's give you want to give them some details and then we'll put more up. Yes, no?
Sure.
Okay. So one of the things that we're going to do is we're going to have a raffle. We have like this package of wonderful official Hearties things. And if you donate to your favorite charity, and listen, I always tell my students this, I'm telling you this, but we'll have it posted. If you donate to your favorite charity, whether it be local and it's monetary, or if it's physical, you take a screenshot of your receipt or a photo of whatever you're doing, and you send it. We'll give you an email address. We'll put you in the raffle. You can also donate to any of the charities or nonprofits that the When Calls the Heart crew and cast support, like the food bank in, I think is it Vancouver. Then also what is the other one? The Wagmore Pets. And then mamas, helping mamas, or mamas supporting effort. It's all, I'm saying.
We'll put it in detail. We'll provide details.
Yes. So you could be them. It could be your local. Like some people are like, why would I give to somewhere far away when it could be my local food bank? Yes. And if you don't have the extra cash, which many people don't, we get that. That doesn't mean you couldn't. There's a wonderful, also a beauty night school. No, beauty night school. My goodness. Beauty night, beauty night school, right? Beauty night has, like a Christmas card campaign. If you wanted to make cards and send those, we have an address for that. If you wanted to do something locally, donate books to a little library, whatever it is, then you get to be part of the raffle. And we'll let you know who wins that night. We're going to have a gingerbread contest, and you're going to have photos that you can send. And we're having a cocktail recipe thing. And we're going to have trivia. And I hope the trivia has some surprises in it. I can't reveal that because that's a lot of work. It's killing me. It's killing me. And then at the end, when the year ends and we're in the new year, we're going to start up our another series, but we'll just be hush hush on how that one works so far. Okay.
New Year's surprise.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Here we go. Kathy, you need to take selfie with your pillow and tag Mr. Hump. Oh God, on social media.
That's where the cease and desist comes in.
Yeah. Christina, yep, there is Baby to Baby. That's another charity. Yep. And then there's Mamas Helping Mamas. Thank you, ladies, for all you have done for our listening pleasure. Can't wait for season 10. Thank you, Avis.
Thank you.
Enjoy, ladies, as well deserved. Oh, thank you. Thanks, Roxanne and Kathy, for this fun breakdown of When Calls the Heart seasons 1 through 9. I'm sad it's over. Aw. Well, we're having a hearty Christmas party. We can have an ugly sweater contest. We can contest it up. The whole thing is, so you got to participate, people. You have to participate. Thanks, ladies. Great podcast this evening. Thank you. All right, Miss Kathy, what do you want to say as our departing words? Shut up, Roxanne.
Revisiting seasons 1 through 9 has been a blast. And looking forward to the Hearties party, because ain't no party like a Hearty party. So looking forward to that and all the new things that are coming up in 2023.
I know.
It's going to be a fun journey.
It is. It's going to be a good one. A good one. A good one. A good one. All right. Good night, everyone.
Good night. Have a great week, everyone.
Yes. We'll see you in a few weeks in December.
Take care.